Mic check 1 2, it's the Y2K collector. So if you watched any of my videos over the past weekend, you know that I did not really score any major deals over the weekend. I wound up picking up a lot of pretty common games for both the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. And just considering, the comps that I'm seeing online, I don't know if it's going to be worth my time for me to try and sell these online. I'll probably waste more time value, even if I am able to sell these games. It's probably just not going to do enough for me to be able to kind of sell them. It's just not worth the time. So I'm looking around my collection at things that I don't particularly need, or things that I can either sell or trade to be able to kind of build up the fund. And so I've got 6 items here that I kind of want to share with you to see. I want to get your opinion. Do you think I should sell these or not? And what I'd be selling these for is for some of the more rarer Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis games that I want to add to my collection. So I'm going to go ahead and start it off with this item right here. So I do have a pretty clean, minus that ding right there, a pretty clean Nintendo DS Lite. Now this, I would say, is probably the least expensive of all the DS handhelds or consoles. For some reason, this one just doesn't hold a lot of value, even though it is the most versatile handheld in the DS family. It can play both Nintendo DS games and it can play Game Boy Advance games. It does come with that backlit screen, so you do get that advantage there. And I mean, it's a pretty good console. I think, honestly, in terms of sound quality, I feel like the DS Lite does have some of the better sound out of all the DS consoles. But for whatever reason, this one it just doesn't sell that well. Or not necessarily that it doesn't sell that well, it just doesn't have a lot of value. I picked this one up for around 17 bucks from a thrift store. But I'm pretty sure I could put this online and maybe get somewhere between 25 and 35 bucks for it, maybe more. But you all let me know down in the comments. It's a pretty decent one. Like, this one is pretty clean, minus this little scuff here. This one has been in my collection for a few months now, so I'm not super tied to it. I don't really feel like a huge connection to it. I don't mind letting it go, but I'm interested to know your thoughts. What do you guys think I should do with this one? Okay, so the second item that I'm considering selling here is, and you're gonna laugh because it's another handheld, but I'm thinking about selling my AGS 101. Now, I've had this AGS 101 since like the peak of my collecting, which was around 2021. I picked this up along with a few other handhelds. This is a pretty cool handheld, I'm not gonna lie. I think the Game Boy Advance SP is one of the better handhelds, and it is one of the more valuable ones for sure, especially the AGS 101. This was pulling in a good amount of value before. I feel like the price on these have dropped. I've seen these listed anywhere between 125 and 150 when it comes with the charger. So the one that I have is in decent shape. It hasn't been reshelled, which is one of the bigger concerns that I have when buying these, because a lot of people tend to reshell these, so you don't get the original console or handheld. This is the original. It has not been reshelled. It has the original stickers, all of the original barcodes and everything like that. It has the original battery. But I'm really torn on whether I should get rid of this one. If I did, I'd probably post it, like I said, somewhere around 125 is what I do on that. 125, between 125 and 145. So I'm still kind of figuring out what I should do with this, if I should keep it. But that's another one that I'm thinking about removing from the collection. I got another handheld that I'm thinking about letting go. So here I have my Game Boy Color. This is the Pinkberry, or the purple, or the pink. I'm not sure what the official name for this one is. I call it Pinkberry. It might not be that. But again, this was a Game Boy Color that I picked up during the height of my collecting. Again, the reason why I kept this one in my collection, because the Game Boy Colors, these two are often reshelled. People often get the aftermarket cases and then just, put those on like, I guess, the motherboard. This one is an original barcode, original stickers, original you know, questions and survey sticker. A lot of times you see these with the replacement cases or the replacement backs where it just says Game Boy right here. But this one is pretty much an 8 out of 10 OEM, original hardware, Game Boy Color. And that's the reason why I kept this one in my collection. I don't know how much these go for now. I know these were pulling somewhere between 70 and 80 bucks. I'm not sure what these pull for right now, but this is another one that I've had in my collection for some time. And I may wind up just selling it with my copy of Wario Land 3. So another one that I'm tempted to kind of move out of the collection, but I'm just not too sure if that's the direction I want to go, but definitely willing to let these three go. And the main reason why I'm willing to let these three handhelds go is because I do have my analog pocket, and with that I can play pretty much all the games that these games can play, probably minus the DS games. I can play my Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, original Game Boy games on the analog pocket. So don't really know if I have a need for these. These are just more, you know, a part of my love for having original hardware. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these yet. I've got one more handheld on the chopping block that I'm thinking about adding to the chopping block, to the trade block. But you guys can let me know what you think here. And that is my PS Vita. So I have two PS Vitas, and I think two is too many, right? I don't think I need to have multiple PlayStation Vitas in my collection. This is the slimmer one. I don't know if this is... I know this one has a different screen. I have the heavier duty one, the one with like the metallic bezel, and I think that one is the OLED one. I actually like my other Vita better. I like how much heftier that one is. Also, I have a lot of my digital downloads on my other PlayStation Vita. That's where I have my copy of Klonoa, Herc's Adventures, Gaia Seed. I've got a few downloads on my other Vitas. So this one is one that I actually picked up from a pawn shop. This was in mint condition, like fresh out of the box. I was actually shocked to see this in a pawn shop. You don't really see those all the time. So this was one that I went ahead and picked up because it was the other version of the Vita. But again, I don't know if I need two in my collection. My other Vita works just fine. And so keeping this is just, again, more of a thing of a love for the hardware, and keeping the hardware in my collection. So these are the handhelds that I'm actually considering kind of moving out of the collection. Not too sure if I'm going to pull the trigger on those or not, but if anything were to go, these would be the ones to go. And I think I could get some really good value if I were to sell all of these. This would help me get through at least June when it comes to my Super Nintendo pickups. I could use all of the trade bait or all of the cash that I get from selling these to kind of pick up some more games. Now I have a couple more things that I'm thinking about removing from the collection because I don't know, with these two items, I just don't know if I'm ever going to use them, and I'm not a collector like that to where I feel like I need to keep these in my collection. So the first one is this sealed original Super Nintendo controller. So this is an original sealed SNES controller, fresh in the box, fresh in the wrapping. It does have a little snag somewhere. Where's it at? It does have a snag on one of these corners. Yeah, there it goes. So it does have a snag on one of the corners, but outside of that, I mean, this is as close as you can get to the 1991 hardware experience. I mean, if you want to have a 1991 moment, go ahead and bust this thing open and plug it into your Super Nintendo, and you will, you know, this will take you back. This is definitely a nostalgia blast here. This is one that I'm thinking about selling just because I already have a bunch of loose Super Nintendo controllers, and I don't have like a sealed Super Nintendo console. Like if I had a sealed in the box Super Nintendo, maybe I'd be more enticed to keep this in the collection as part of like a sealed SNES set. But because I don't have it, it's not something that I feel super tied to. I've seen these sell for anywhere between 190 to 250 online. And that would be enough to get me definitely a couple of cool games. So this is another one that I'm thinking about selling as well. Still not sure, but you guys can let me know down in the comments. And then finally, you're going to probably be a little shocked with this one, but I am considering selling this OLED Nintendo Switch. Main reason is because I do have the Animal Crossing Nintendo Switch, which was like the first Switch that I ever bought. that's the Switch that I use when I want to play like the Nintendo Switch on like a larger TV screen. And I don't really even play that Switch a lot, to be honest with you. So I picked this Switch up as a part of a trade. I needed to burn some trade credit, and there wasn't really a lot of things that I was seeing at the game store that I was making the trades that I was like really enticed to get. So because they had a brand new Switch OLED, I picked this one up thinking, you know what, even if I don't wind up using it, I could always use it as trade bait or just sell it online. So this one is brand new, brand spanking new in the box, never opened, never played. And this is one that I'm thinking about selling as well. So, I mean, if I were to get rid of pretty much everything that you see here, it could get me roughly around $700 towards the games that I'm thinking about, you know, picking up over the summer and throughout the rest of the year. But I'm not sure. Even though I'm not super tied to these items here in my collection, I do like having them, and I do like having the option to kind of just get into some of this hardware whenever I see fit. And these are just really cool pieces. It's hard to find original OEM hardware these days, and I think that's why I'm kind of like tied to some of these pieces and having them in my collection. But let me know down in the comments, do you think that any of these should be traded? Like I said, I already have a Vita, so I don't need one. I have the analog pocket for my Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance games. I still have my 3DS and my DSi for my DS and 3DS games. And then I already have a bunch of loose Super Nintendo controllers. So not sure if any of these are needed in the collection. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Choices. It's the Y2K Collector. Hopefully you're having a solid Monday, and I will see you later on this afternoon with another video. Take it easy.